Hey guys, Craig here from Craig's Game Room. I have to share an unfortunate fact with you. GameCube Player's Choice games are ugly, they're smelly, they look bad on your shelf, and you shouldn't have them in your collection. None of that is obviously actually true. This is fake propaganda by r/game collecting telling you how you should collect what you collect. Do not listen to them. You should buy whatever games make you happy, and there's nothing wrong with Player's Choice. Player's Choice is cool. I love the Player's Choice line of the GameCube games. It is a fantastic collecting choice for people that want to save a little bit of money, because usually the Player's Choice versions of games are cheaper. When you have all those yellow labels together on the shelf, they actually look really cool. It sticks out in a good way, opposed to when you have one random yellow label amongst all the black label GameCube games, and it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. When you have a bunch of yellow games together, it looks really neat. And it's just a great selection of games, so if you care about playing your games for some reason, I don't know why you'd play your games, then it would be a really good choice for you for having a great selection of high quality games to play. Obviously it's not totally true, there's a lot of licensed games and different things, but overall, pretty good quality selection of games that have been Player's Choice. Now, a lot of people don't like to collect the Player's Choice for the things I already talked about, but there are definitely some very collectible Player's Choice games, and some that are actually very tough to find. So I want to make this video today, talk about what would be like the top 10 harder to find / rarest / uncommon GameCube Player's Choice games. I was able to come up with my list by doing some research along with just my own personal experience. So I finished this subset of GameCube games quite a while ago now, so my memory is a little fuzzy, but what I did was I took my list of all the Player's Choice games, and then I chopped off everything I remember being super easy to find, and then what I did with those remaining games is I went on eBay and saw how many copies of that game were listed as Player's Choice available. So all of these games have 6 or less listings on eBay right now, which is, I would say, definitely in the uncommon to rare category, because that means you can't just find it any day of the week. These games come and go all the time, and then you are probably a lot less likely to find it in person if there's not that many copies on eBay either. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and start going through them. I know I called this a top 10. I'm already admitting to you that I lied. This is kind of a top 12, but number 12 and 11 on the list, I didn't really have a way to research to give them kind of a ranking or put them in the list with a number that I could find, because I'll show you, they're a little quirky. So first up we have Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, French-Canadian Player's Choice. That's cool, right? Just kidding. It has a black label on the side too. Very interesting. I'm assuming this is some sort of misprint. I don't really know the full story because I haven't really been able to find way too much information on it, but cool little interesting thing. Does it count as a Player's Choice game? Does it not? I guess it's up to you to decide. Next up, Resident Evil 0. This is a super common game, you're probably thinking, whether it be Player's Choice or Black Label. You'd be correct, but have you ever noticed that it could have different font sizes on the spine? Probably not, because you're probably not a crazy person like I am, but one day, as I was perusing a game store, I noticed this, and I thought it was very interesting, so I, of course, had to buy this, because it's a variant of a variant. I am a big variant person, especially when it comes to GameCube. That is like my favorite interest when it comes to game collecting. So yeah, Resident Evil 0, 2 different versions with a different size font on the spine. Super bizarre, definitely worth picking up if you're a crazy person like I am. Alright, so the 9th and 10th spot on this list, because a lot of these games are kind of tied for how many listings were on there. These only had 6 copies available. First up we have WWE Day of Reckoning. I got a little bit of glue on there. Oops, I'll probably clean that off. I'm terrible about taking stickers and different things off my games. But yeah, only 6 available. So yeah, on the harder side to find, definitely keep an eye out for this if you want to start collecting Player's Choice GameCube games, as well as Chicken Little. I'm pretty sure this was a later print, or a later release on the GameCube, so that's probably part of why. Sometimes I wonder with games like this, I'm like, did they just like manufacture a bunch of discs and are like, oh, we got to get rid of these now, put on Player's Choice so we could sell them for cheap? I don't know, but I wish we could get more context and information on print numbers from games back in the day. It'd be very interesting to see. Next up, the next 4 games all had 3 copies available. One of them I think will surprise you. So next up we have WWE Day of Reckoning 2. Then we have another wrestling game. The final one on this list is going to be WrestleMania X8, 18, I'm not sure how you say that. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I have all these stickers on this. Best Buy I think that was some sort of game chain, and then this was Zia Records, which is a store chain in Arizona and Nevada. But yeah, I got this for $6, so it's kind of fun that I have a very hard to find Player's Choice game with a cheap price sticker on it. Something to note about this game, if you do go for the Player's Choice games, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Someone else on the disc. I don't actually know his name because I'm not a big wrestling person, but I do know The Rock Anywhere, as anybody does. And yeah, for some reason, when they made the Player's Choice version of this game, they changed that middle wrestler to The Rock when it was whoever this gentleman is. Is he Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin? I'm not sure. You could all laugh at me in the comments if I'm wrong. But yeah, for some reason when they made this game Player's Choice, they switched it to The Rock, which is also, he's on the cover of the Japanese and Australian copy I've seen too. So not sure what the story with that is. But yeah, so you just want to make sure you have the matching manual, and the disc is the same no matter what. So that's easier to piece together if you're piecing together your games. Sometimes it could be cheaper. Next up, very surprising inclusion is Wario World. So the only 3D platforming Wario game, as far as I know. You can all correct me if I'm wrong. But he is one of the harder games to find Player's Choice. Yeah, so this is a very beloved first-party Nintendo GameCube game. Not my favorite personally, but I know a lot of people like it. And for some reason, the Player's Choice is just very hard to find. Only 3 copies on eBay as of today. This was a harder one for me to find when I was going for the set long ago as well. So yeah, just something to keep an eye out for, especially for you Wario fans out there, because I know you're out there. All right, and the most surprising to be in this area of the list where there's a couple of games that have less availability on eBay right now is the Sonic Adventure 2-pack. So there are 3 Sega 2-packs on the GameCube. There is 2 other ones that I guess I won't spoil because I'm going to be showing them in a minute anyway. But this is probably the most popularly desired because, you know, just Sonic fans love Sonic. The adventure games are very beloved. It has really cool artwork. I think this artwork of all the characters looks awesome. My copy is a little beat up, has a little bit of sticker residue that I would like to get off eventually. I'm just afraid of ruining it. I can confidently say that this was sold at Kmart at some point because there is a torn up Kmart sticker on there, because a lot of people always debate where these games were sold at. This one was sold at Kmart. My copy was new. It's funny because I can see now the sticker's starting to peel just from old age and kind of being a little beat up. So maybe I'll do an unboxing of this because this is kind of opening up anyway. I love devaluing my games. It's fun. All right, next up, this only had 2 copies on eBay right now, and this is MVP Baseball 2005. So when I was going for the Player's Choice subset, originally this was one of the hardest games for me to track down. I remember I had saved search for a very, very long time waiting for this to come up. Luckily, because it's both Player's Choice and a sports game that nobody cares about, you can usually score this one for really cheap, but it is legitimately rare, so that's kind of cool. So if you want to have a rare, cheap game, MVP Baseball 2005, Player's Choice Edition. Alright, so the next 2 I'm going to show, they both only have 1 copy for sale right now, and one of them is going to be the Super Monkey Ball 2-pack. So this is one of the other Sega 2-packs that I mentioned earlier. Again, amazing, amazing box art. These 2-packs, by the way, the games inside are just like any other Player's Choice copy, so there's not really anything special about them. It's literally just the cardboard boxes, but they are very desirable and collectible by people. There's 1 copy for sale right now, which is interesting because for a long time this was the easier one to find of the 3 Sega 2-packs. The Sonic Adventure one used to be much harder to find, but there's more available now than there was in the past. So just based off of current availability for this list, I would say that this is one of the harder ones to find because there's literally only 1 for sale right now, and I think it's listed for like $600, which is definitely on the lower side for what this sold for in the past. So I guess if you've been waiting on getting your Super Monkey Ball 2-pack, now might be a good time. Shout out to these games. Alright, so this next one is the last non-double pack on the list, so I would say it's the rarest, just like singular GameCube Player's Choice release. By far and away, Rampage Total Destruction. Right now on eBay, there's 1 other copy for sale. It's a brand new VGA graded 75. Terrible grade for a GameCube game, unfortunately. But yeah, this one just insanely hard to find. It was another late release GameCube game. The game also came out on the Wii, so I wonder if that's part of why it was such a short printed player's choice game. But for some reason, just super duper hard to find. So if you come across this, I would definitely pick it up because it is a legitimately rare GameCube game, and there's not a lot of those. You know, people call Gotcha Force and Go-Go Hypergrind and Cubivore and all these games rare, but you can buy them any day of the week. They're just more expensive than they are rare. Something like this, actually pretty dang hard to find. So, Rampage Level Destruction. Alright, so the final game in this list, GameCube hardcores and enthusiasts probably already heard of, but you might not know about it. Simply known as the Duo Pack. So this is by far and away the rarest player's choice release for the GameCube. It has a copy of Super Monkey Ball in it and a copy of Sonic Heroes. So this game is just super low print. Some people don't think it ever even actually got released or was ever officially sold, but there isn't really a way to prove that because of how old this is. You know, there's Amazon listings and stuff like that. Some people say they remember seeing it in Costco, but it's just a super hard game to find. These double packs, I think that they all got printed more than we realized, and they just threw them all away. You know, people threw away the packages because we all did that when we were younger. I mean, how many of us, many of us did not keep our game cardboard. We just kept the actual games. So luckily I was able to get this in a trade a long time ago. 0 copies listed on eBay right now. Probably going to be 0 copies for a while. These just rarely come up. And I say if you're going for the player's choice set, I don't think you have to really count the double packs. I think those are more of kind of like bonuses or variants on top of the actual games, because it's just a cardboard box with the same games inside anyway. But yeah, so the Duo Pack, by far and away number 1. Probably the crown jewel of my own personal collection, so I feel very lucky to own this. So there's a couple games I didn't include that you might be surprised about, and those are Resident Evil related. There's a Resident Evil 10th Anniversary collection that has Resident Evil 0, 1, and 4, all player's choice. But there's a lot of copies of that listed right now on eBay, so I was like, probably not as hard to find as the rest of these, which is surprising because that was a very hard game for me to find back in the day. And then the Pure Evil 2 packs, which is Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1. Those games are player's choice boxes inside of a cardboard box, but it has no yellow labels of player's choice or anything like that on the inside of or on the outside of the box. So I don't really know if I count that as player's choice. It's kind of a weird middle ground, like that Wind Waker I showed earlier. It's like, it's kind of just up to you, I guess, if you want to count it or not. But for the sake of this video, and for not kind of diluting what I'm defining as player's choice, decided not to include it. So yeah, player's choice games can be collectible. They can look really cool on a shelf together. I think that they all look great on a shelf together. And I just think that player's choice deserves a little bit more love. So, you know, if you want to collect for GameCube, if you want to collect a lot of GameCube, you might save a little bit more money because usually player's choice versions are cheaper. And if you want, you know, you love the idea of going for a full GameCube set and you're daunted by the amount of games, how much money that can cost, player's choice is kind of a fun little subset that could kind of fill that niche for you, because you still have a lot of first-party Nintendo, you still have a lot of really good games, and it's still a decent amount of games too. So player's choice is still a great thing to collect, and I think that player's choice GameCube games get more hate than they deserve. So wanted to give this video, you know, just give them a little bit of love, talk about the rare ones, and I appreciate you all watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, I would really appreciate it. I do have a podcast with my friends Tyler and Zach called Generations Behind, all about retro video games. So if you like podcasts and you like to hear me ramble, then that would be a great thing for you to check out. So I appreciate you all watching. Thank you for checking out the video, and I hope you all have a good one. Take care.